Welcome everybody to my latest video. So for this video, we got something a little bit different. This was actually a request by someone on the KLOV forums. I was selling an item. They ended up not buying it, but they did recognize my username, and I guess they subscribed to my channel, so he's one of the 10 subscribers that I have. Or maybe it's a she, I don't think so, but anyways. They asked if I could do a video basically explaining my history with Street Fighter. So I thought, why not? It'll give me something to do. Now here's the thing. I am not a pro player. I'm not a tournament player. I am just a casual Super Turbo / Grandmaster Challenge player. I, don't compete hardcore. I play at most, maybe an hour and a half at night, every other night. That's about it. I really enjoy the game. I have a dedicated cabinet, but, I'm not tournament worthy. So what you're going to be seeing in this video, which you're probably already seeing right now, is just gameplay footage of me that I recorded off my TV, old style, playing the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition on the PlayStation 4. Now, here's the thing. I only use a select handful of characters. I use Boxer, Claw, Honda, Blanca, and DJ. That's all you're going to see me playing, at least on this video. Every now and then, I'll play Guile, maybe Dictator, Chun-Li, but for the most part, just those other ones that I mentioned. So, you're going to see me winning, you're going to see me failing, / losing. But yeah, just might as well, let's start from the beginning. So, the first time I heard about Street Fighter was actually from some friends in school, and they told me about this fighting game that was unlike anything that had ever come out in the arcades before. And I didn't have any money, so I very rarely went to arcades. If I was lucky, I might have had like $1 or $2 to spend on an arcade cabinet, like at a 7-Eleven, but that's about it. So one time, I was in Vegas, and I finally saw this cabinet, Street Fighter 2. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this out. Nobody was playing it. I get to the cabinet, and I'm thinking, why are there so many buttons? What is going on here? I've never seen a control panel with this many buttons. I put in my quarter, 50 cents, whatever it was, and I believe I picked Guile. I could be wrong. The only reason why I say I think it was Guile is because I remember doing a backdrop. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was pressing all the buttons. I didn't know anything about the game. And of course it didn't last very long. I thought, okay, well, that's the end of that. And yeah, that was my first, dive into Street Fighter 2. Eventually, I got into Street Fighter 2 when it came out on the Super Famicom. Now by then, I had become a little bit more accustomed to it, playing cabinets at the local 7-Eleven, etc. And when I heard it was coming out for the Super Nintendo, just like everybody else at school, I wanted it. Now, I was very lucky. I was able to get the Famicom version from a local video game store. It was a mom and pop shop called P&L Video Games. And what I did is I actually traded in a used Sega Genesis. No, sorry. I sold a bunch of games, and that allowed me to get Street Fighter 2 for the Famicom. And this place is really cool because, of course, you would have needed a converter to play Famicom games on a Super Nintendo. This place was nice enough to break out the plastic tabs within the Super Nintendo so you wouldn't need an adapter. And they were selling the adapter. They plain told me, you can buy the adapter for another $25–30, or, just bring your Super Nintendo here. We'll make it so you can play the game. So that's what I did. I played that game day and night, had no clue what I was doing, really didn't know any combos, and for the most part, I think, I was pretty sure I was a Ken player. Ken was my go-to guy. I think most people who start into the Street Fighter series, they'll select Ken. So I played it. Eventually got bored of it. I ended up trading it for, I think, a used Sega Genesis and some cash or something. Time went on. Let's see. The next time I really got into Street Fighter was around the time Super Turbo came out. Now, that means I had skipped Champion Edition, I had skipped Turbo / Hyper Fighting, I had skipped Super. I'm pretty sure it was Super Turbo, and everybody's talking about this new Street Fighter game. I remember at the time Mortal Kombat was out. My memories could be getting a little mixed up here. But I remember Mortal Kombat was a huge thing with the fatalities, and okay, this new Street Fighter's coming out and it's going to compete with Mortal Kombat. And the funny thing is, you know, with the information I had, or the limited information, what I had thought was that every character was going to do every other character's moves. So yeah, I'm thinking, how is Zangief going to be doing a spinning bird kick? And is Zangief going to be throwing a fireball or a sonic boom? You know, really didn't know much. Of course, I didn't get the game for any console. I do remember when Super Turbo actually came out in the arcades, finally. And I played it, and of course I played Ken. I loved the animation of the fiery dragon punch. I played him, you know, played whenever I had a few quarters here and there. I was at the local movie theater or 7-Eleven or, you know, someplace that there was a Super Turbo cabinet. Didn't know what I was doing, of course. Other times I was able to play is when I went to Vegas. With my parents. You know, I thought I was good. Looking back, I know I wasn't. I remember this one time in Vegas, I'm playing against the computer, and now that I think of it, the difficulty level was probably low, so I thought I was doing pretty good, you know, with my Ken gameplay. And I remember this one guy comes up to me. He was a younger gentleman, possibly an older teenager / young adult. I remember he had his girlfriend with him, and he's just talking to her, not really paying attention to the game, and he picks Blanca. And I remember thinking, why would anybody in their right mind pick Blanca? That has to be one of the worst characters ever. And of course this guy just annihilated me. And I thought, okay, odd. Now of course, unless you were really dedicated to the game, if you were just an average player, chances are you picked Ken, Ryu, whatever you want to call him. You may have picked a Guile, but that was about it. Anybody who picked anyone else, you were thinking, what the heck are they doing? Had I known then, what I know now, I could have been really, really good at the game. But yeah. So that pretty much marked my end of Street Fighter, at least for the Street Fighter 2 series. I never played the original Street Fighter cabinet. Now, okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so next we're going to move on to my history with the Street Fighter Alpha series. Now, I remember reading about Street Fighter Alpha, thought it was weird that it was actually a prequel. I really only played that on the original PlayStation. Never played it in the arcades. I never played any of them in the arcades, actually. But I did get it for the Sony PlayStation. I remember I released a video about this. I actually got the game from this little mom and shop video game store, and it was like a ripoff. These people, keep in mind, the game was sold out pretty much everywhere. So I went to this local mom and pop shop, and they're telling me, you know, like, hey, do you have the game in stock? Oh, of course we do. We have a bunch of them. You know, how much is it? Well, you know, we can't say over the phone. You gotta come in, but you know, we sell new and used games, and we sell all our games for the used price. So I'm thinking, great. You know, I could possibly save 15-20 bucks. I get down there, and coincidentally, miraculously, they only have one copy left, and it's the copy that is used on the display that they have in the store, you know, for people to test it out. They had a little, you know, PlayStation there, controllers, hook up their TV. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's going to be sold for the used price. You know, I go and purchase it. They're like, okay, so this is how much it is. And so it was only like $5 less than the quote-unquote brand new price. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. They take the game, they put it in an envelope and give it to me. And I'm like, well, what about the packaging? What about the case? And these people were like, oh, well, if you want that, it's an extra $10. It's like, what in the world? They actually got the games, they opened the games, sold them just the disc only for $5 less. And if you wanted everything else, it was like $10 more than buying it brand new elsewhere. A really bad business model. These people went out of business. The only reason why I got the game there is because it was the last one in stock and no one else had it. But, you know, I got it, went home, played the hell out of it. Of course, I only used Ken. I thought it was pretty fun, but I didn't hang on to it for that long. I ended up getting rid of it. I can't remember, you know, if I traded it away or sold it. But that was pretty much the end of my Street Fighter Alpha, you know, history. Next, we're coming to the Street Fighter 3 series. Now, by then, arcades were dying. They were just drying up. And I remember I finally saw this Street Fighter 3, and I'm thinking, I didn't even know they had a 3. What is this? Okay, so I go and play the game, and I thought, what is going on here? Only Ken and Ryu are here. Who are these other people? What the heck? And I played it. Of course, I picked Ken. I love the animation for his Dragon Punch. I thought it was phenomenal animation. I played it, and I think I liked it. But I really didn't think too much of it, because, again, there's hardly any arcades, and I think I only played an arcade Third Strike cabinet, keeping in mind, truthfully, I don't know if it was Third Strike, or was it Second Impact, or just New Generation. But, you know, I played it, I was like, okay, this is pretty fun, and then that's the end of it. I think for a while there, I gave up video games, consoles, arcades, everything. So my next dive into the Street Fighter 2, you know, my history is, let me think. I started to collect arcade games. I got Street Fighter Alpha 3. That was the CPS2 hardware. This is when I first started collecting arcades. And I played the hell out of that game. My characters were Sagat, Honda, and Blanca. And I played it and played it and played it, and I absolutely loved that game. Was I any good at it? Yeah, probably not. Then, for whatever reason... Oh. I actually came across a deal for a Sega Dreamcast and a bunch of games. I got the Dreamcast, and then I got that Street Fighter 3. It contained Third Strike and Second Impact, or Double Impact, or whatever it was on the Dreamcast. Anyways, I got it, and yeah, I started playing Third Strike on there. I bought myself an X-Arcade joystick, thinking it was the best joystick on the planet, and for the best price. Little did I know then what I know now, but, you know, I will never buy an X-Arcade joystick again. It's just not for me. But yeah, I started to play Third Strike on there. Again, really didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know anything about how to properly play a Street Fighter game. And then it wasn't until we started hearing rumors about this Street Fighter 4. Now, Street Fighter 4 came out. I still played Street Fighter Alpha a lot. Finally, you know, I really started getting the Street Fighter 4, and I know there was Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, there was Arcade Edition, there was a couple of other editions, I think. I can't remember which edition I played which character, but I played everyone. The characters I played were Sagat, Akuma, Blanca, Honda, Balrog, Boxer, and T-Hawk, Hugo. I played Hugo toward the end. A little bit of Rose. But anyways, in probably around the Vanilla series, regular Street Fighter 4, when I picked up Boxer and Honda, that really made me go back to playing Super Turbo. And because of Street Fighter 4, and I can't remember, I might be getting my history mixed up here, I actually started playing Super Turbo a lot better. And I started to learn about it. I learned about all the tricks, or not all of it. Again, I don't care about frame data. I can't pull off 7-hit combos, but I started to learn things. I know that I learned a lot more as time went on. Yeah, kind of a tongue twister there. But anyways, I actually started to love playing Super Turbo again. Now, I'm going to start calling it what it is, and that's Grandmaster Challenge. I did have a Super Turbo board. I played it. Damn thing is cheap as hell. But my favorite arcade game of all time is Super Street Fighter 2 X Grandmaster Challenge. And that is the Japanese version of Super Turbo. And I just started playing it again and again, and I started to enjoy it more and more and more. It was just a really, really fun game. Nice. So I went back between that and the Street Fighter 4 series. What else? Let's talk about Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5, I agree with a lot of other people, it is a piece of crap. I remember I didn't even get the game until Urien came out, because he was the only character I was interested in. And when he finally came out, I did get it. I played it for maybe a season and a half, maybe, and then I just gave up the game. It just was not fun. It's been sitting unplayed for I don't know who knows how long. So yeah, that's as much as the Street Fighter 5 series. But Super Street Fighter 2 Grandmaster Challenge, or Street Fighter 2 X Grandmaster Challenge, my favorite arcade game of all time. Yeah, I don't play Shotos anymore. For the most part, it's Honda, Blanca, DJ, and Boxer. And then, I'll throw Claw in there every now and then. Guile. And that's about it. Every once in a blue moon, I'll play a Chun-Li. But, let's see. I do have the original hardware. I have the Darksoft CPS2 multi-kit. And that's, awesome in itself. But as far as Grandmaster Challenge, let's see, what else? I just thoroughly enjoy the game. Do I wish I could play better than I do? Of course I do. But, I got other things that are important to me, so I don't put in the hours and the dedication to learn the game at a competitive level. Like I said before, I play maybe at most an hour and a half each night, but it's not even that. Sometimes I'll play an hour a night, hour and a half. Sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 days without playing at all. The Street Fighter 30th edition, I do like that, but the connection just sucks. I absolutely hate it, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my internet connection, but it seems like either I don't get paired up with anybody, or I get paired up with the same person time and time and time and time again, and it just becomes really, really annoying. Excuse me. So I'll probably be giving up that game soon, just going back to playing on my cabinet. Do I have any a color that I prefer? Purple. Now, if you watch some of the older competitive Street Fighter Super Turbo videos, like not mine, but like competitive level, especially in Japan, players were known for selecting a certain color. Nowadays, I pretty much just press any button. Depending on the button you press, depends on what color you get, etc. I like to go for purple, but don't always remember which button I need to press. That's really about it. I don't think there's anything else I can go over. Like I said, I made this video at the request of someone from the KLOV forums. But yeah, so depending on how much time is left on this video, enjoy the remaining matches, I guess. Yeah, I think that's about it. So until next time.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.